Everybody, gonna make a quick video here. We just got done spending about a week in this Teardrop's Northwest Ranger trailer. Thought we'd take the time, since we've had a little bit of experience with it, to just do a quick walk around video so people can see what it's like. We'll point out some of the things that we really liked about it and a few areas of opportunity. So first we're gonna start back in the galley. Basically it's set up right now the same way it would go down the road, with the exception of this table that sits on top of the propane tank. This just sits inside the trailer when you're not using it, and it's actually really nice to have this space over here. And the awning is out as well. We're drying that off. It's been raining the last 2 days, so everything was pretty wet when we put it away. We were in Northern California, back in Oregon now. So you're looking at the galley here. Does have a light inside, and then most of this kind of slides out. So you've got a lockout fridge, really nice Dometic fridge. This thing did super well on the road. And then this side, you've got a double stack. Comes out. So this is the Camp Chef stove. You can also upgrade this to the partner stove if you want to. I will say we had a day where it was pretty windy and we actually had to set up some perimeter around this. Kevin, the owner of Teardrops Northwest, told us that with the Camp Chef it's supposed to be inset enough that the stove itself acts as the windscreen, but it definitely did not function well when we were near the river in some high winds. The partner has like a full shield, and I think that would have worked much better. You just basically remove the hose from out on the bottom and run it over to the propane, and you're ready to go. What we would sometimes do at night is just take this whole stove and set it on that shelf so that we didn't have to unhook it, and then in the morning it's ready to go. We would just lay a little towel over it. And then you have a cutting board surface up top here, and you still have a drawer down below. And so then you've got kind of a little bit of a workspace here. These are lockout, so when you're putting them back in, all the way, then you have to just lift the tabs up, and that will feed back in. And then the same thing here, you gotta lift this tab. And then that locks back in, and then you've got these nice sliding locks on the side, which none of these ever came loose during use. So you see here on the bottom you've got a really big space, and it's also cut out so that when that top is open you can still access things from in here. So that we're considering going with the Recon, which is a little bit shorter trailer. And if you do that and you want to have this same bridge, you have to turn it sideways, and so you lose this shelf space. Or you can go with just a cooler instead of a fridge. But I will say it was super nice having the fridge. Probably wasn't totally necessary on this trip because it was pretty cold. We were waking up and it was below freezing every morning outside. And usually inside it was in the 40s, so pretty cold. Didn't really probably need to be running a fridge. We brought a cooler with us as well, and that stayed fine with the ice packs. And then as far as the rest of the galley goes, you've got USB ports, 12 volt. When you flip this on, it shows you how you're doing on your power. We're at 12.6 right now. We just got done driving 5 hours back home. And we only ever had this down to maybe like 12.3. Kevin said basically if you get down to 11, you probably need to charge it up. We never had it on shore power. It was only driven by the vehicle. The fridge did turn itself off once because it was set to the high setting, which defaults, it kicks off as soon as you drop below like 12.4. And so that didn't kick back on until we were driving, and then we changed it to the low setting so then it can get down to like 10.6 or 11 or something like that before it would kick off. All right, so let's look at these cabinets. So we just have basic storage space here. This one, if you take a peek here, you can see that one actually is a pass-through. So that one goes all the way inside, kind of nice. You can put things there that you might want when you're inside. So you've got all this bottom storage. And then another set up top here for all the rest. And you can end up with stuff sitting on the top shelf. You do need to be careful when you close it. But there is quite a bit of room in here, so you can still keep a lot of stuff out when you close this for the evening. And then another unique feature is the way that the water tank is set up. So there's no fridge on here, but it's a nice simple setup for the water tank. This is basically travel mode, so it stays in this space. If it's full, it just sits down here, prevents the tub from moving. And then when you want to use it, this right here folds down. While I'm talking about it, one thing that would be nice is if there was something to prevent this from just falling, maybe just some kind of little retainer, because as you're pulling this out and it's heavy with all that water in it, you're using both hands, and then that just drops every time. So yeah.
So you know, I mean, realistically, the thing is to still kind of use
and
that.
this sits into here like that, and now you basically have your little wash tub underneath your portable sink. We've got a full-size spare tire. This came with BFG KO2s on it. They're 30 by 9.5. They did really well. We actually had this trailer the first night on some pretty rough trail. And then the awning, which is his own awning that he has manufactured, that also works nicely. It's got these bars that fold in, so these two fold into this side, and these two fold into the original side, and then the whole thing just kind of rolls up onto itself. So that worked really well. Another little tweak that I would do to the awning is, if you look at the way the awning is set, it's bolted in right on the edge here of the crossbar. And what happened is, when it was raining and we were in like 2 days of rain, water would come through here and everything right here would end up getting wet. If we had the door open, it would be kind of dripping down. So it would be really nice if there were a shield, or one other way to do it would just be to have the awning set a little bit further in. So if maybe it was like 6 inches in on the bars, that would prevent that sideways rain from coming right through. You've got lighting on the outside. This one has the amber cover. The other one is clear, but you can swap those around or make them both amber or both clear. You've got a nice rain guard on the top edge of the door. The doors have a deadbolt and a lock on the handle, and you can lock that deadbolt from the inside. And then a unique feature on this trailer, I think, is that it has the little port window, which is nice, and it was actually pretty handy from inside because your head is right over near this area, so you can peek out there. Moving around to the front, you've got a sizable tongue box on this one. He does make it with a few different size options, and you can get it to be just silver or powder coated black like this. Kevin told us that he increased the wheel diameter on the jack, and that worked pretty well for rolling around, so that's a nice feature as well. We peek underneath here. We're still set up from the road. We were doing some whitewater kayaking and the bike was our shuttle, but this has a fully articulating hitch, which was really nice. We had this thing pretty off camber at times, and this hitch can spin all the way around, so technically the trailer could be rolling behind you. The other really nice thing is that once you remove it, you're left with, when we left the trailer a couple times at camp, and you basically have a trailer that almost nobody could hook up to, because 99.9% of people are not going to have the correct attachment. They're just going to have a standard ball. So back to the box. We kept the lock on it, but it just has a retainer clip, and really nice, it has its own lift in there. And then take a peek inside. Quite a bit of storage in this thing. So we had chairs and all kinds of extra stuff over here. The The only spot taking up any space is the 2 batteries that are right here, but we were able to put stuff on the side, all along the bottom. We're gonna take a quick look inside, and one thing to point out on this is that the doors have a nice retainer clip, so it's right down here at the bottom, and this piece is gonna go right into there. So you open it up, and then when you come around, it just clips in, and that way the wind doesn't blow the door around. All right, so now we're gonna look at the best part, the inside. So really nice fit and finish in here. Let's kick the lights on. You've got 2 lights. They're actually pretty bright, and I would say that's one other like minor area of improvement that I would say is you could, if you had a light that you could adjust the brightness, that would be nice. We ended up using our little lanterns, and so these you can just hold and it'll adjust from bright to dim. And so we would generally put one of those up in here, and then we would hang one from this, and that is the Fantastic fan. So this you can adjust the speed of remotely, and you can open and close it. It'll turn itself off, and it has a rain sensor, so it actually shut itself off once all on its own when it detected rain. It's a queen size bed in here. It is a tri-fold, so you can fold it up and get it out of the way if you want. We generally just kept this down, and then we would like move our cooler into here and other random gear while we were out and about. You can also set it up with a stereo. We just brought the JBL Flip 5s, and they worked really well. And then for storage space in here, you've got storage on both sides, and then you've got high storage up here that swings out, as well as some plugs here. And the back corner also has USBs, so that was pretty nice. These USBs did make some whining. They kind of made some whining when certain things were hooked into them, so I'm not really sure what that's all about, but that's basically the interior. All right, so I want to talk about a couple other things that we thought were areas that could be improved. One of them is the fact that there's no curtains in here. So if you're like me and you like to sleep in the dark and you don't do well with the light, I did find myself waking up early. We were being pretty active, so we were also going to bed early. But I would definitely like to have a curtain option on the round and on the window itself. The other thing about having a curtain is it's not just for sleeping, it's also for privacy. So if you want to be changing in here and you're in like a public campground or something, it'd be nice to be able to have nobody be able to see in. And it's also good for security, because oftentimes we were leaving a bunch of gear in here while we were out paddling on the river, and so it'd be nice for people to not be able to see in and take a peek at what you've got in there. Speaking of the windows, one other negative I was kind of surprised about is these only stay all the way up. So you have to have that fully open. Somebody could definitely break in through there, and what we found is that at night you want to have it cracked a little bit while you're running your fan to help control moisture, and so you can't do that with the way it's set up. I'm really surprised it doesn't have any other cutouts, so we would just set a little something in here and it would hold this open about 1 inch at the bottom, and that way air could move in and move out. While we're on the subject of moisture, we did accumulate moisture in here every night, even with both windows cracked and the fan on, and we accumulated a lot of moisture in here when we had to have the fan down because of it raining outside. Kevin did mention that you can get a Propex heater system in these that will run off of your propane. and that they do a really good job of controlling moisture. Another area for improvement, all of this space up here is basically dead space, and I think it would be nice, I've seen some other companies put in a headboard that has like some storage in it, kind of like a little cutout pod up here that's open on the front, and that way you could put a bunch of clothes and stuff up in there. Pop your phone up there while it's charging on this port, things like that would be nice. And then interior wise, there's just not a lot of space to put stuff over here. That's all happening over there. It would be nice to have like cup holders or hooks or mini shelves. If it were my trailer and I would keeping it, I would at least get a bunch of 3M hooks and just put them around, because it's really nice to be able to hang stuff, especially so that while you're sleeping at night, you have access to it. So I hope that was helpful to everybody. We really enjoyed this trailer. We were actually just talking about how we're kind of sad about having to give it back. And I feel like we kind of put it through its paces. We drove about 5 hours south into Northern California. We camped along the Klamath River, and then we drove to the coast and came and camped at the Smith River. And it just handled like an absolute champion. We had it off-road every single day to one extent or another. It towed really well. It didn't even affect our mileage that much. This truck is pretty new to us, but I'd say we've been getting like 18 or 19 mpg just generally. And with this trailer hooked on, we were probably averaging 13, maybe 14 mpg. So we saw a hit of maybe 5, which is not too bad, considering we're towing about 2,000 pounds and we had stuff loaded in the bed. So yeah, really impressed. I definitely recommend that you check out Teardrops Northwest. Talk to Kevin, he's the owner. He has a strong attention to detail. I spent about 2 hours in his shop looking at trailers. Before this, I had no intention of renting, and then all of a sudden we kind of started thinking about that might work, and we are super impressed with his trailers, so check them out.